Good evening, everyone. I'm Gun and I'm here with my partner Grace. We hope you're having a great day and we thank you for joining us for the QIU Virtual Public Health Campaign.
I can't believe it, but we have reached the final guest speaker of our public health campaign. We have had the honor and privilege of hosting some eminent minds in the fields of pharmacy, and our next guest definitely fits that bill.
I couldn't have put it better myself. We've talked about weight management, medicine management, fitness, and eating habits, and we are here right now to enlighten you on some hidden facts of hypertension. So, join me in welcoming Malaysian Ministry of Health community pharmacist Mr. Marcus Chiu, who's here to talk about things you may not know about hypertension. Good evening, Mr. Marcus.
Hi, good evening.
Hope you're
Thank
doing
you for
fine
inviting
today.
me. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Okay. So let us all hear from Mr. Marcus right now.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Quest International University, for inviting me for the talk. Okay, so for this live is our talk. I will present first. So if you guys have any question, you can ask me after this. Okay, cool. Yep. Okay, before that, let me go to the live as well from my phone, so I can see if there's any comment. Okay, let's start. Okay, all right, everything all good. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcus. I'm the community pharmacist and also a Bachelor of Pharmacy from IMU. I graduated in 2012 and I own a retail business since 2016. A total of 3 outlets in Klang and Shah Alam. Okay, so in 2019, I've invented this new product called Hang Away, the #1 hangover cure in Malaysia. And now I pursue my study in PhD. So today I'm going to talk about this topic, the fact you may not know about hypertension. Okay, so if everyone ready, then I will move on. So the fact that you might not know, the first one is the high blood pressure, also called silent killer. What's the reason we call it silent killer? Is because most people have this high blood pressure and they don't have any symptoms such as sweating or headache or stiff neck. Okay, because many people they feel okay, so they don't think that they need to go to check their blood pressure regularly. So that's why nowadays many people who are having this high blood pressure, they don't aware about it and they don't usually go and check until they feel discomfort. So my advice is whenever you walk by or pass by this retail pharmacy, community pharmacy, please go and check it out, and it is free. Okay, so we call it as silent killer. So the next point is the blood pressure is linked to other medical issue. So we know that blood pressure, it could bring a loss of these consequences if you're not well managed. Okay, so we used to say that this high blood pressure, it can be the first indication of a serious underlying condition. So usually when a patient comes in with a high blood pressure, the doctor will check their urine and kidney function, okay, and also do some this what we call electrocardiogram, okay, to check on the size of the heart and also the lungs changes if there's any changes. So please imagine when the pressure of the blood vessel is high and the blood pressure is under stress, it makes people with this hypertension were more prone to heart disease, okay, because of the damage of the blood vessel, heart attack, stroke, and also kidney disease and etc. And also chronic conditions like diabetes, kidney disease, sleep apnea, and also high cholesterol will also increase the risk of developing this high blood pressure. So for those people with this chronic diseases, chronic condition, please watch out for these symptoms. Okay, right. I can see many people is coming in. Okay, all the sound is good. Okay, so I continue. So another thing is, have you heard about this hypertension happened in pregnancy women? Yeah. So it will lead to preeclampsia, means that it will deliver baby before the due date, which is very dangerous. But most of the case, after they deliver the baby, the blood pressure typically will goes back to normal like within 6 weeks. Okay, but however, for those women, they have a high blood pressure during more than one pregnancy, maybe have more likely to develop this high blood pressure and also the heart problem when they are aging. So actually, we know that actually a lot of these studies shows that lowering the systolic blood pressure is to well below recommended level. It can help to lower the number of heart problem and especially for those above 50 years old. Okay, so actually they did the studies with involve a lot of participants to achieve the systolic blood pressure. Okay, let me show you systolic pressure. If you look at the slide, right, the one that's showing up there 118, this is called systolic. Okay, the 70 is called diastolic. Okay, so okay, yeah, so you got it. Okay, let's move on. So compared to those, for those people, they have high blood pressure that targeted below 120, okay, millimeter mercury. Compared to those higher than 140, they actually did the studies for those people that over 60, they were prone to have the heart problem. For example, like heart attack, stroke, heart failure. Okay, so if you can target it at about 120 millimeter mercury, you can actually reduce the risk of getting all these problems by 1/3. Okay, and then reduce the risk of death almost by 1/4. Okay, so please check out your blood pressure regularly, even though you are very healthy and no problem. Okay. The next thing is, I think most of us we know stress play a very important role in high blood pressure. And then how do we cope with the stress? So today I would like to talk about how and why stress will cause high blood pressure. Okay, because stress and hypertension have often been linked, but then researchers still looking for the direct relationship between the two. And then what I can explain here is when we are stressed, our body will create more stress hormones. Okay, so what's the hormones? Which hormones? Okay, so the answer is adrenaline and cortisol. Okay, it will come out, generate a lot of these hormones and go into our bloodstream. And these hormones actually created a temporary spike of our blood pressure, like causing our heart to beat faster, and then the blood vessel to narrow down, it constrict. Okay, and when it's under this stressful situation, it will pressure will actually how to say, the blood pressure will cause discomfort. When there's high blood pressure, will cause discomfort. But then usually, if the stress is reduced, it will go back to normal level. Okay. So the second thing is sleep can prevent and manage the high blood pressure. How? Because the study has shown that most people experience a dip in blood pressure. Okay, a dip in blood pressure during the deepest stage of sleep, meaning that there's also known as a slow wave sleep. Okay, so when people they have a very good quality of sleep, very deep stage of sleep, they will have a dip in blood pressure. Okay, so this can explain that most of the elderly, they have this sleep apnea. Sleep apnea means that they are not have they're also known as a sleep disorder. They cannot sleep properly. They cannot sleep properly. Whenever there's a noise or light, they will trigger them out. So that this one can explain that because elderly, they hardly to have this good quality of sleep. That's why it increase the hormones in the body like adrenaline or cortisol that causing high spike in blood pressure. So of course, there's many ways to improve the quality of sleep, but then this one maybe we can discuss next time. Okay, the way how to improve the sleep. So the other fact is wealth comparison prone to hypertension. I find it very interesting. That's why I shared it here. So far, everyone okay? I think can follow. Yeah, getting more people coming in. Thank you. So, NUS, the National University of Singapore, they did a studies on 115 115,000 of participants who always compare their wealth, okay, with their neighbors. Okay, so after considering after factors that affect the blood pressure, the result of the analysis shows that starting age of 30, okay, starting age of 30, who are less wealthy than their neighbors are more likely to increase their blood pressure. Okay, so how about by the age of 55? Okay, many people's blood pressure has increased enough to show the symptoms for the high blood pressure. When the blood pressure is higher than recommended level, the risk of heart attack, stroke, and other diseases will increase as well. Then, how about, you will ask, how about the neighbors if the neighbors are equally wealthy? So the study shows that the people whose neighbors are twice as rich as themselves are 20% is more likely to be diagnosed with high blood pressure. But this correlation disappear after age of 65. I think that because of after age of 65, their main focus is not on their wealth. Okay, so when people are approaching this retirement age, I think they have the time to reflect on their achievement and regrets in their life compared to their neighbor. So they may feel unhappy, frustrated, but then I think after age of 65, right, there is nothing much to concern about the wealth. I think it's more important or more to concern on the health, okay, and then to enjoy their most precious in life, I mean, after 65. Okay. So the other one is the fluctuation of blood pressure. Actually, there's many factors that we should know what causing fluctuation of blood pressure. One of the main factor that affect the blood pressure is, I can say, is the white coat syndrome. Okay, not the patient wearing white coat. This is, we call it white coat syndrome, is because when the patient is waiting for the appointment, lining up to see the doctor, they feel anxiety, they feel stress, they don't know what is the result is going to come out, and then they feel stressed, then it will increase their blood pressure just when they see the doctor. So the study shows that as many as 20% of people diagnosed with hypertension, okay, experience temporarily stress related, meaning that when they see doctor or about to see the doctor, then they have this stress and then causing their blood pressure to spike. Okay, so right. So the next thing is mass hypertension. Okay, because some of people experience the opposite of white coat syndrome, meaning that when they see the doctor in the office, the blood pressure might not be high. When they come back to their normal life, the blood pressure is become very high. This one because we call it mass hypertension. That's possible. Okay, so another thing is in retail pharmacy, we always see people come in and ask why the blood pressure when I measure in the morning, okay, after I wake up, in the afternoon, at night, or even when they walk into the pharmacy, why the blood pressure is fluctuating. It's not accurate. They will blame on the machine, the the blood pressure device is not accurate, and then they keep on buying the new one, or they rather go to see the doctor and then use the manual use the manual one. So what I can say is, normally your blood pressure usually will rises and fall between the walking and sleeping hours. Okay, and it generally lowers during sleep and rises throughout the day and start to fall again in the late afternoon. The theory is very simple. When we are lying down at rest, our blood pressure will be lower because you don't need to pump the blood to the, how to say, no need to pump the blood so hard to circulate the blood. But then when you imagine you are in a lying position and you straight wake up, stand up or sit up, that's where your heart would need to pump harder to make sure the blood go to the whole body. Okay, so it makes sense. So the time factor is very important. The time of the day you measure your blood pressure, it affects the reading of the blood pressure. So the next thing is, what factor causes a fluctuation of the blood pressure is the temperature. Okay. The temperature, the BP usually show higher in the cold or lower in the heat. Cold meaning that if the room temperature consistently below 21 degrees Celsius, okay, at cold temperature, our blood vessel will narrow down. And once the blood vessel narrow down, definitely our blood in the blood vessel, okay, sorry, the blood pressure will go up, okay, because the harder for the heart to pump, okay, the pressure is higher pressure is needed to pump the blood through them. Okay, so the weather changes like humidity, atmospheric pressure can also affect the blood pressure, especially for those people at age 65 or older. Okay, what's the other factor? What you guys think? What's the other factor that will affect and causing fluctuation of blood pressure? So the other one, one of the factor is the over-counter medication. What medication? Cold medication, okay, which contains decongestant. Okay, for example, if you look at the ingredients of this flu medication, especially for nose block, to prevent nose block medication, we call it the ingredients we call pseudoephedrine, okay, or even oxymetazoline. All these medication will cause increase in this blood pressure, and that is very dangerous because it will constrict your blood vessel will shrink. Okay, it will cause constriction of your blood vessel. Why? Because when we take over-the-counter medication for flu, right? It will. How do we stop the blocked nose? How the medication helps to reduce the runny nose? It actually constrict the blood vessel so that the mucus, it won't secrete so much of this mucus in the nose. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, right. So the other thing is exercise. Of course, we don't do exercise just before our checkout for blood pressure. Okay, it's normal to see temporary increase in blood pressure during exercise, but this can be particularly true is possibly in the more dramatic way. Okay, so that's the tips to avoid excessive increase in your blood pressure while working with weight. Okay. Excuse me. So how to avoid this problem is when if after exercise you have to rest at least 5 to 10 minutes, okay, and then don't hold your breath, or you just make sure you relax, okay, and then make sure everything is okay, is fine, or you can rest for half an hour. Okay, if after exercise don't do it immediately, you can at least rest for half an hour, let your heartbeat go to normal. Only we start doing the blood pressure monitoring. Okay, then the next thing is the next factor that will affect our blood pressure is when your bladder is full. Okay, weird enough, when our blood pressure is lower when you have an empty bladder. Okay, your systolic blood pressure will increase 10 to 15 millimeter mercury when your bladder is full, according to some of the studies. Okay, so please clear your bladder before you go for the test. Before you do the blood pressure monitoring. Okay. So, how about foods? Will food affect the blood pressure? Okay. I think most of people will know because, for example, drinks. Okay, drinks like coffee, tea that contain caffeine, or even you drink alcohol drink, okay, and this drink will cause a spike in our blood pressure. Okay, I think this is very simple. Everyone know about it because of caffeine. Because caffeine, it will block the hormones that widen the arteries. Okay, and then when the blood vessel is constrict, okay, it's narrowed down. The arteries is narrowed down. It will cause a spike in this pressure. And caffeine also causes an increase in adrenaline hormones as well. Okay, let's see if there's any question so far. Let me see. Okay, this I'll just explain about this. This is the temperature with temperature at least 21 degrees Celsius and above. Okay, so if for those people family history of hypertension, they have to keep them at least 21 and above, meaning 21 degree below, it will cause this one the blood vessel to narrow down. Okay, so in explaining to this, because the research result shows that participants with the lowest temperature at home, okay, had average systolic and diastolic blood pressure of about 126 to 126 systolic and diastolic 74 respectively. So while they are in the highest room temperature, they have a lower value, which is about 120 and 70. This is for normal people. Okay, this is for normal people. And then they found out that for every 1 degree Celsius drop in room temperature, the systolic pressure and the diastolic pressure will increase by about 0.5, okay, millimeter mercury for both the systolic and diastolic. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I think so. This is my Facebook page. Okay, you can go and you can scan the QR code, and then you can go and like my page. And then inside my page, I will teach a lot of this about high blood pressure. How do you choose a blood pressure monitoring device? Okay, what is the right way to use this blood pressure device as well? Okay, and we'll answer you all the question. If you have more than that, you have a lot of questions that you can ask me besides blood pressure, whatever disease or any medical condition, you can PM me. Okay, then we will attend you, and then our pharmacist will attend you as soon as possible. Okay, so thank you very much. Let's see what any question here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marcus. And here comes the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, kindly leave them down below at the comment section and we will highlight them to Mr. Marcus. So let's see if there's any questions.
Please leave your question in the comment section below. While waiting for the question, I would like to ask Mr. Marcus, as you've mentioned just now, on how to choose the right measuring device for the blood pressure. So may I ask, what are the tips that we should actually consider when we are about to purchase a device to measure the blood pressure?
Okay, thank you for the question. So there's four things that we have to look at. So number one is we have to check whether they have this MDA number. Okay, MDA number means the medical device is approved by this our Ministry of Health. Okay, and then they have a serious number, just like our medications or supplement, we have an MAL number, and then for all device, they have called it MDA number. So this MDA number, because why we choose even I think most of the pharmacy, the machine that they're selling, they have MDA, but then because nowadays, many people tend to buy devices or things from e-commerce. Okay, so most of them they say, hey, $50 I can get one blood monitoring or blood pressure monitoring, or maybe $80, $70, right? But then most of the time, right, that one import or even sell it local is not registered. It's not a registered product, so it will affect the reading. So that's why a lot of people they say, why my blood pressure keep on fluctuating, and then they will cause they will start worry and then go and come and check with us, bring the meter. So when we look at it, right, most of the time it's not registered, and then don't know what brand is it, unknown. So this is the first one. The second one is what we look at it is the cuff size. Okay, so because from my experience in retail pharmacy is most of the people they have this issue after buying the blood pressure monitoring device, right? When after buy it, then they come back, I cannot wear. Okay, because most of the brand in the market they are selling for medium size. Okay, so I would recommend is you can find some brand they have a bigger size, L size perhaps, L size which can fit anyone in the family. Okay, so cuff size. So another one is we have to look at there's other things like the accessories. Many people they thought, okay, I have a show unit here because recently I recorded a video talking about the high blood pressure, answering all the question. Okay, let me show you what I have it here. So this is one of the brand that are selling in my pharmacy. Okay, this is the name called You Well. I used to recommend this brand, and I like this brand is because, of course, there's many brands in the market. They have this all the MDA. Okay, and then the reason I choose this is the accessories. When most of people that when they buy the machine, and then they will oh, this is new. Okay, my demo set. Okay, when they buy the machine, they buy the machine, right? They come with a machine, okay, and a cuff. Okay, the reason I choose this brand is because the cuff size is bigger. Okay, I'm not sure whether you can see it. This is about 22 to 45 cm. It's quite big. Even for me, my size is very big. I also can wear. Okay, so if your arm your arm is about 22 cm, also can wear. Not too small or too big lah. Okay, but then this size is just nice for L size. And then most of the customer they come and buy the machine, right? After they will come back to us. They will ask why the machine behind the machine there's a hole. Okay, to put in. I mean we should come with adapter. Okay, there's a plug because there's a hole there. It looks like can be charged. Okay, but then why the inside the box is there's no adapter? What should I do? Then we'll tell them, okay, we have to order separately for you, and then it costs $100. So the customer will angry and go, why you never come together? So this is the thing you must check. Like for example, I use this brand because they come with adapter, and then most of the brand they'll charge 80 ringgit or maybe 100 ringgit for adapter. So I have to watch out for this. And then of course the last thing is the warranty. Okay, most of the brand they have a 3 years warranty. Okay, they have 3 years warranty, and then the reason I choose this brand is because of 5 years warranty. Okay, so the longer the warranty is the best. Okay, all right. I think that's a line problem over there. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So just now I mentioned is you have to check on the. Okay, all good. Okay, no problem. I just keep on talking. Okay, so we have to check the warranty. Okay, sometimes it's 3 years, but then you have registered online extend 1 to 2 years. But then the reason I choose this brand is because it has everything I need. Okay, 5 years warranty. So and then very good. It comes with battery as well. Okay, so the next thing is I think it's not too important to me. But then I can say that is the what I call memory. the number of memory that it can store. Okay, so some of brand, they only record last reading. Okay, last reading. They record last reading means just only one memory. Okay, some is 30, some 60, even 90. Okay, that's why I choose this brand, because most of customer, they will ask how many memory over there. This is 100 groups of memory, and then there's a special function will indicate for irregular heartbeats. So yes, you are back. Okay, good. Okay, so you have to see nowadays, right? Most of the machine, they will show you, you indicate for irregular heartbeats. That's very important, because blood pressure monitoring device, right? They only check on the blood pressure. But then nowadays, right, many brands, they actually help you to check irregular heartbeats. So if it keep on showing irregular heartbeats, then you have to see the doctor immediately. Okay, and then the best thing is, nowadays, because the technology is very advanced now, and it can actually detect whether your cuff is properly put on or not, the cuff of the machine. Okay, so I think these are the things that we have to look at it. I think basically I covered all I think 4 points. There's 4 factors we have to look at it. Okay. Yeah. Any
Okay, thank
question?
you. Okay, there's one question from the floor. What's the best time to measure daily BP?
What's the best time? Okay,
Yeah.
I would say 2 times at least in a day. Okay, one is after you wake up in the morning. Usually it will be higher. Okay, but then it's no harm. You take it. Then the next is before you sleep. Then even if you are very okay, why? Okay, for those with have this high blood pressure, I will ask to do 2 to 3 times, provided you have the machine, not like walking here, keep on driving to hospital, pharmacy. Okay, because usually when they are suspected you have pre-hypertension. Okay, just borderline. The doctor will ask you to monitor yourself at home. Okay, for at least 1 week, and then you do 3 times a day after you wake up, before sleep, or even before your lunch. Okay, you do it, and then for 7 days or 14 days, and then you come back to see them. Because most of the time when they see the doctor, and then the blood pressure is very high, but then we have to rule out other causes, and then we'll check also their other risk factors, like their age, okay, whether they have diabetic, whether they have any medical issue, what medication they are taking. But then if there's very less in risk factors, then the doctor will ask them go back and do monitoring 2 to 3 times a day. So we will see. Actually, is early morning, is fine in the early morning or any time of the day. But then we'll look at the whole picture of the blood pressure. You cannot say like we take one reading 160 and 160 over 90, that is considered high blood pressure. Then you have to start on medication. Yeah, that's most people worry, and then they worry once I started on medication, I can't stop. Most of patients, they will ask like that. So even that's why many patients come to pharmacies. They will say, "Doctor asked me to take this medication, but then I keep it for a month already. I never take. Then I keep on come and test my blood pressure. Then they will come and ask the pharmacist, I don't want to take medication. Is there any other way to reduce my blood pressure? Any supplement? Okay, so what we're going to do about this, because the doctor already prescribed them the medication, right? So that's our job, as a pharmacist. Have to make sure the patient is compliant, and then explain to them taking the medication is not the end of the world. Okay, because I think because most of the time the doctor prescribe them medication is to bring down their blood pressure, because in order for a person to change their lifestyle and the diet, it takes time. For us, if we are obese, and then we ask you to slim down, but in 3 months' time, I think very hard. You keep on eating, and then this is your lifestyle, and then this is your diet. Very hard to change. That's why the doctor prescribe medication. So, as a role of a pharmacist, we will explain to the customer what is the possible side effect and then how can it helps? Because blood pressure medication, there's many types. Okay, so I think the students here, right, there's many different groups of hyperpressure medications. So in retail pharmacy, what we do is we have to explain to the customer, but then you can't just telling the mechanism of action of each medication. So what you do is you have to tell them in layman. Okay, what I tell customer is the customer, sometimes the patient will come over. Why the doctor gave me 3 medication last year I take 1 or now increase add on another 2, now it become 3 already want me die take like 6 so many, later my kidney spoil how So what will you do? We cannot tell them, oh, you don't take lah, auntie, you take 1 medication enough lah, the doctor will kill you So we cannot answer like that. But then the imakuche those auntie uncle they will tell them, you don't take so much lah, your liver later gone case later your kidney spoil cannot like that. So what we do is, as a pharmacist, first I will try to explain to the patient why doctor giving 3 types of medication sometimes. Okay, so imagine there's just now I mentioned about this narrow blood vessel and what was a dilation of the blood vessel. Okay, relax or constrict, whatever. So what we do is actually if there's any friends watching the live, okay, any one of you watching live, and then you want to know what is actually you're taking, I think the best is you ask your pharmacist, because I can see many people they already taken their medication for 10 years, 20 years, but then they don't know what's the medication for. No, I got 3 types. No, I take this 3 types for many years already. But then after I explain to the customers, only they realize how it works. For example, we call it Norvas amlodipine. Very easy. How do I explain to customers is I'll tell them how it works and what is the side effect. So we know that it helps to, like in scientific term, it helps to vasodilation for our peripheral arteries. Okay, the vessels. Okay, so meaning that it will dilate, it will relax and dilate our blood pressure, our blood vessel. Okay, in order to reduce, imagine your blood vessel is like a pipe of water pipe. Okay, so there's the water inside the pipe is your blood. So if you are taking amlodipine, how it helps to reduce the pressure. So in general, how do we reduce the pressure of the pipe? So the first way is we relax it, we increase the size of the pipe. Okay, so definitely the pressure inside the pipe will be lower. That's how it works for amlodipine, this medication. So they will ask you, then how about this medication? Okay, the second medication is, we call it maybe diuretics medication. So imagine, auntie, you look at the pipe. Okay, so how to reduce? What's the second way to reduce the blood pressure? Reduce the blood law, reduce the water, then reduce the blood volume, then it will increase the blood pressure law. Okay, so that's why there's a second medication. After taking it, you will keep on going to toilet. So you have to take at the daytime. If you take at night, then you will keep on going to toilet, you cannot sleep. So there's many ways telling customer, patient in layman. But then I think most of the doctor, they don't say it because not they don't know, but then it's because they have limited of time because of many customers, patient lining up. Okay, that's why we are here as a pharmacist to explain all this to customer. And then after that, we can see that they are very happy after they're knowing it and how it works. And then they know what's the side effect. Yes, because of the amlodipine, they dilate the blood pressure. Okay, the imagine a balloon, they relax already, dilated already. Then there is a pause, and the water come out. It cause my water retention. Okay, my leg swelling, all this. Then they will become very pro already and explaining all this to their friends and say, hey, so you're taking the right dose at the right time, it helps you. If you're taking the wrong dose at the wrong time and overdose, it will kill you. So we call it drugs. If you use the right way, it's called medicine. Okay. Otherwise, we call poisonous. Okay. So I think I answered the question. This is my experience in retail that we have to really explain to customers.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marcus, for the information. As you've mentioned just now, I would actually like to ask are there any suggestion on the supplements for hypertensive patients that you would like to give as a pharmacist?
Okay. And of course, comparing to medication, right, there is not, there's clinical studies. Many supplements, they claim that they have these clinical studies, but then it's not as well studied like medication for maybe 10 years, 20 years. For supplement, the studies is very simple. They can be 3 months, 6 months, or even less than 1 year. Most of them less than a year in order to get results. So both supplement, yes, most of the supplement now in the market, they have studies, but then it depends how big is the population and then how long is it. Okay, so in retail pharmacy, I don't tell customer that you don't take medication, then you buy this supplement to reduce your blood pressure. We cannot say that. What we usually recommend is, yes, auntie, be a good auntie, you take your medication. But then I know that one day you hope to cut off your medication, taper down, or if can possible, you don't want to take your medication, right? But then at this moment, you have to take. Otherwise, the blood pressure go up. It will affect your other parts of the organs. Imagine you keep on pumping the water, the pressure to your kidney burst lah. Okay, pump to the liver burst. So what you need to do is, if you want to, if you don't want to take the medication, so first you change your lifestyle, diets. What supplement can help is, imagine, if your blood vessel consistently under pressure, and then the pressure is very high, so it will cause your blood vessel very weak, okay, or even harden, okay, as we learn, harden. So how to prevent it? How to protect the blood vessel so that it's more elastic? So what do you suggest? So how do we suggest to customer is, you can take antioxidant, for example, coenzyme Q10, fish oil. But then, can it cure blood pressure? No. Okay, this is just protection. You still need to take your medications. Okay, but then we wish, combine together with your lifestyle, your diets, one day doctor will taper down your dose. Or if you are generally healthy, everything okay, then you will remove your medication. Yeah. I think there's one question over there just now.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's another question.
Okay. Yeah.
Why does a lower temperature increase blood pressure?
As I explained just now, they say that below 21 degrees Celsius, or maybe in winter country, okay, when there's a cold weather, of course, the body natural reaction is they want to prevent we lost heat from the body. Okay, imagine when we exercise, okay, so it's very heaty. So how they release the heat from the body? The blood vessel will dilate, the blood vessel dilate, then to allow the blood to flow underneath the skin, so it can expose the heat. That's why you will see the face very red, and then all the skin like very red. Okay, so another way, when there's cold, the body have to protect, to capture the heat within the body, not to lose the heat. So all the blood vessel will constrict. So imagine the pipe I mentioned just now. Okay, once the water pipe constrict, what will happen? The pressure will go up. But then this is not long term, just a while only. Then we'll recover back after that.
Okay.
I hope I answered the question. It's really Chan.
Thank you for the explanation. So the next question from the ground is that temperature of surrounding will increase the blood pressure?
Okay, if room temperature or slightly high temperature, you mean hot weather is fine. Actually, it's fine. Okay, just that just now I mentioned is the below 21st, but then if you say our body temperature is 37, okay, so if the weather is very hot, 37, 38, 39, 40, you just have to drink more water. Actually, this case, right, I think as long as our body can last for the temperature, it won't be like causing very high pressure, unless you with movement, you do exercise, you walk a lot, then definitely yes, it will increase the blood pressure, but then in short term, not consistently high. That's why you have to check out your temperature, your surrounding temperature before you do the blood pressure monitoring.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marcus. There's another question from the floor. Does the blood pressure meter so currently need calibration?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So usually we advise to do it yearly. So you have to check out the brand that you bought. You ask them if sent for calibration, how much it charge. But then as long as I know, like for example, this brand is 5 years warranty. So within 5 years, it can send for calibration. There's no charges. Okay. But then it depends. You ask the pharmacist when you buy from them. Actually, there's many brands in the pharmacy, include my pharmacy as well. But then it depends which brand, because different pharmacies will prefer different brand.
I see.
I see. Thank you for the explanation. Let's move on. There's a question from Dan Kirsch. What is a normal blood pressure and a heartbeat?
Okay, so I think I didn't prepare the chart over here. So the normal, according to the Malaysia guideline, the latest one, most of the time, okay, for our heartbeat, we will see the heartbeat in the blood pressure monitoring. I will say that when at rest, when you sit down, relax, right, it should be less than 100. Okay, but then of course, if you're athlete, it will be about 60 or even lower, because when the heart is stronger. Okay, so for normal, okay, you can write it down for adult, right, blood pressure. If for normal reading, this systolic means the top reading, okay, is about 120. It's 120 to 129. Okay, the diastolic is 80 to 84. Okay, meaning below 130 and below 85. Okay, so what we call is the borderline, at risk borderline is 130 to 140, okay, and also 85 to 90. So anything above 140 and above diastolic 90 is considered hypertension, but then it depends on what stages. Maybe we can share the chart with you later. Okay, because sometimes it keep on changing, like depends on which guideline, but then we follow the Malaysia guideline.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Marcus. There's another question from Tanisha. How to overcome white coat syndrome?
Be friend with the doctor, lor, and then be a good patient, lor. Usually they worried because it's like taking result, your SPM, your STPM result. When you go to the to the hall waiting for the result, you can jump. But then if you're confident that sure lah, my result sure good one because I've been working so hard, and then the moment I walk out from the exam hall, I confirm all A1. So no need to worry, lor. Nothing to worry about. People worry and then got fear is because they are not confident. Okay, or you're not friend enough with the doctor, or the doctor marah you, then change doctor lah. Change to a friendly one lah. That's why most of the time,
Okay.
Okay.
pharmacists, right? Yeah, they say, oh, pharmacist very friendly lah, and keep on talking to me lah. And when I'm very boring, and those elderly, right? At home, no one talk to me. Then I come to talk to pharmacist. Pharmacist very friendly, but someone talk to me at least. And then sitting there talking for half an hour. That's our job, lor. To help them get the best reading. Okay, sometimes auntie come very high, auntie don't worry, you sit down there half an hour. I serve other customer, then I come back to you, something like that. So that's our job. As a retail pharmacist, you have to be patient with customers. Okay, so what I can say is you're confident and then do your homework. As long as you, because most of the time, patient like for blood glucose high in this blood glucose as well. What they will do is they will fasting. They say fasting for 8 hours to 12 hours. They will fast more than that, and then medication double dose before they come and do tests. Okay, but then we know that at certain for blood glucose monitoring, right, we can look at the HbA1c for average 3 months, so that one cannot tipu one.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually patient is very cute. Okay, they will try whatever they can to get the best result. Just like student, I want to get a good result. Okay, hope I answered your question, Tanisha. Thank you.
So let's move on. There's another question from the ground. When we are using the blood pressure device to check the blood pressure, but there is a slight error in the reading, which is already which is already done twice. Only the third time it will only show the actual reading. So what is the factor that caused this situation to occur?
What's the factor? There's many factors. Okay, so first question is whenever customer says that why you always error one, then we'll ask them what's the error of the number. Let me check this. Yeah, what's the number? Error one, error two, error three. Okay, if you can see here, come. Right, can read right. Error 4, error 5, error 6, error 7, error 8. Okay, so that's an indication for good with NDA approved and a good quality one, they will show you. They're not just saying error. Okay, even if the cuff is not properly put on, they will tell you there's a cuff problem. Okay, please adjust, readjust, not too tight or too loose. And then, for example, it depends. Error, like for example, this brand wrong indication. Error 4, unable to measure the pressure because ask you to fasten the cuff correctly before measurement. Error 8, the pressure exceeded maximum value 290. I think this one can go to emergency ED already, emergency department already. Okay, and then replay sometimes the battery twinkle. So it depends. All meters that come with the manual. So you have to check the manual. What's the error reading? But then if you think that you're still not confident with the machine, you just newly bought and then give you so much problem, okay, you feel like very bad luck, then you can always bring it and then to the pharmacy, ask them to do calibration, even you take it after a week. Because your confidence level is very important. Otherwise, you will think, how to say, you become depressed. Why like that? Why I do it on this suddenly high, suddenly low, then sometimes error. What's wrong with me? I got something wrong, is it? Something like that. So yeah. Then on the third time it shows the reading. Yes, there's also the factor. It depends. Maybe the first one you cannot error 4, second one you cannot error 7. Okay, then at the end you do it correctly, then you can get the answer, the result. You just take a picture. One is error, take a picture, then you show the pharmacist.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Marcus. I think
Okay.
there's another question from the floor. So, does it matter which arm I cuff when I'm measuring?
Good question. Actually, sometimes you can see a lot of people doing on left hand, do on right hand. But then I would recommend to do it on left hand because which is nearer to our heart. But it depends on the sitting position. But then when the customer come to my pharmacy, I will ask them to to give me their left hand. So ask them to relax, and then we put it on. So I will suggest on left hand, closer to our heart.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marcus, for the explanation. So moving on, I would like to ask, how do we know if the blood pressure machine we bought is a registered one?
Okay, so first, I think you can ask the pharmacist, okay, whether they have an MDA number. Then they will give you the number. Then very easy, you just put the number in Google. Then you just type and then come out the name, the model. Is it the same? Same like medication, same like supplements. They will claim sometimes online they're selling supplements without registered with Ministry of Health, right? They will tell you, oh, I got this number MAL. Then you just put the MAL number, you throw into Google or the website, okay, the official website. Then you just throw it in. Then it will come out what product have been registered under this number. You ask the pharmacist, but then if you want to buy from the online seller, you ask them to provide you the number. Okay, then you go and check it out. Okay,
Okay,
online.
thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Marcus.
Welcome.
So the next question is, I would like to ask whether adherence on taking BP medication same as compliance.
Adherence on taking BP medication, same as compliance. I would say same as compliance. Not really. To me, not really. What do you think?
Please move.
Okay.
I feel like it's almost.
Sorry.
I feel like it's almost the same.
Okay. You mean the chances of they don't want to take the medication? Okay. Is it same as whether they will take it daily or not? Am I getting the? Is it the what you mean? Sorry. Hello.
Sorry.
Okay.
I
So,
think
what do you think?
I think just the word they are using is different, right? What's the differences between adherence and compliance?
Yeah.
Yeah, just asking what's the differences between adherence and compliance. Are they same or different?
Okay. So they're asking whether adherence and compliance are the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm, I'm not too sure about this, but then what I found is compliance is a passive behavior which a patient is following instruction. Adherence is more positive, a proactive behavior result in lifestyle changes. I'm not too sure about this. Yeah, maybe I'll get back to you.
Okay.
What do you
Okay.
guys think? Yeah.
We are more or like the same, agree with Mr. Marcus. So we will do a little more research on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. To me, it depends, lah. So we'll
Yeah.
do research on that. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Okay. So moving on to the next question.
Mhm.
So I guess that's the end of the Q&A session. There's no more question from the audience. So
Yeah.
A very big thank you once again to Mr. Marcus for sharing his expertise on the unknown facts of hypertension. So it was really an eye-opener in many ways, and it was an honor to host him.
kindly join our last quiz for the health talk with Mr. Marcus. Only one winner with the highest point will be awarded with our limited edition merchandise. So before we end our webinar, we can't live without saying a proper goodbye. So join us for a closing ceremony in another 10 minutes. See you there.
And thank you, Mr. Marcus.
And thank you once again,
Okay.
Mr.
Thank you.
Marcus.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
ceremony of the QIU Virtual Public Health Campaign. It has been 4 days since we began this journey together, and I must say that it's been a great ride raising awareness about the silent danger of hypertension.
We've talked about medicine management, eating healthy, and exercise. We've even cooked together and worked out together, and we really hope that we've increased your knowledge about this disease.
And to draw the curtains on our event, as the organizing chairman, I'd like to thank our sponsors and QIU for the opportunity to organize the event. I would also like to thank the team for making the event a success. Of course, we can't make this without you. Thank you for all your support that you have shown us throughout the 4 days of our campaign.
So there you have it. Before we say goodbye, we once again thank you the viewers. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your feedback, your time, and your support. We did it all for you, and we hope we made a difference.
So here's the team for today.
Hi.
So
Thank you.
Until next year,
See you next year.
goodbye.